Those are two different things. I mean, my son is doing stuff on machine learning with respect to brain-computer interfaces. How do you look at the EEG of a patient and figure out what they want to do? Whether they want to raise their arms up, down. That's kind of where the research is right now. Um, but you kind of learn from data. You change your model. AI is something completely different. AI is a system that could write its own code other than its very base code. Not only it learns, it can also make decisions. Any of you guys ever watched the movie 2001 Space Odyssey? Well, arguably, it is one of the best movies ever made. Of course, it's by Stanley Kubrick. He probably has three movies in the top 10 all time. There is an AI over there that makes decisions based on its own set of judgments. At some point, it pretty much shuts them out and it senses the danger from one of the astronauts and it basically kills it. And one of the other astronauts asks a question, and it's one of the coldest answers you could find. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that. It's a psychopath AI. All right. Now, inventory is not the only type of assets we're going to look at. You know, when you have operations manager in your company, there are different areas of operations. You got the inventory managers, you got the managers of the working capital that pretty much deals with receivables and payables. You got the overall manager. One of the things we're going to look at is receivables turnover. Since receivables happen after the sales are made, we're going to divide sales with receivables. Similarly, we're going to have a number called the apostrophe comes after the S, sales and receivables. And let's call this RT. That's 365 over RT. This number is also known as average collection period. You obviously want that number to be low because remember, receivables are sales you make to your customers that are to be paid sometime in the future. Even credit card sales, you get them anywhere from 5 to 7 business days. But especially if most of your clients are corporations, it's normal that you extend them trade credit for two reasons. One, you essentially provide them funding, so your customers like you, or your customers actually sell their own products, so it's going to take them a while to earn the money and pay you back. But you don't want that number to be 6 months. Let's calculate receivables turnover for NVIDIA for the 2 years of data we have. Let me see. I'm going to take the revenue this time, not the cost of goods sold, divide that by accounts receivable. It is 609 now. it was 705. So has things gone better or worse from uh, 23 to 22 to 24? 23 to 20, 22 to 23. It says 23, but it's only January of that. Um, the turnover actually has gone down. It was 7 in 2022, but it is now 6. Or alternatively, we could calculate, let me use different colors. Back in 2022, it took NVIDIA about 52 days to collect its receivables. Now they're collecting it in about 60 days. It's not too much, but on a strict comparison, they're waiting a little bit longer. It may be better for them because they're not selling cheap stuff. Okay, I mean, last year the government of Saudi Arabia alone bought $125 million worth of H100 chips. I don't know how much U.S. government is going to let them buy the new Blackwells. And the only reason they're doing it, they're doing these huge AI farms in the desert. Okay, probably powered by solar generators, so that they want to be players in information business or data center business. So you want these numbers to be low. Is there kind of an optimal number? Well, that depends. It depends upon how you're financing your own payables. Okay, NVIDIA has its own suppliers, among others. For example, they send the specs to a company in Taiwan. It's called Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing. They actually produce these chips there up to the specs. Of course, they have to pay them. So we're going to look at something called payables turnover. Technically speaking, that payables are not assets. Not technically speaking, they are not assets. But I'm still interested in that number. It's cost of revenue divided by accounts payable. These are transactions I made. I made purchases, but I'm going to pay them in the future. Similarly, we have days sales in payables, which is 365 over, let's call this PT. So let's calculate both of them for NVIDIA. Blah, 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 blah. Let's insert. So I'm going to take the cost of revenue divided by accounts payable. Let me use a different coloring set there. How about green background and yellow font? No, that's too light. Copy. I'm gonna format just the formulas. So in this case, since they have exactly the same information, I'm just gonna look at the days sales and payables because it's easier to interpret. Back in 22, it took NVIDIA about 5.5 weeks to pay back their payables. Now they're using about 2 months. Okay. So in that sense, things have gotten worse. But you don't want to judge these things by themselves. I mean, in 2022, it took them about 50 days to get their receivables, but